you're looking at something or creating something or putting something together or becoming something that you're not, all right? It's not a specific thing that you're going to do that's going to get you there, okay? So I coached with Dr. Schiffman, right? When I started off, and I'm so excited that Dr. Lerner and Dr. Schiffman, these were guys that like docs that I'm looking at. I'm looking at them on the stage, and I'm like, man, I just got to get to where they're at. They're seeing thousands of people, and coming out of school, one of the things I knew that I needed to do was have some kind of foundational help or training, and I chose Dr. Schiffman because they said he was seeing 3,000 a week. I said, if I could be 10%, it's good. I can see 300 a week, right? Just 10%. I said, I'm an okay kind of guy. I can do 10%, right? So I went to a seminar, right? It was this room, and it was all these chairs, like 500 chairs, and there was only 6 people in there. And I was one of them. And I was sitting in the back, and I sat, and I heard, and I listened. I said, man, I just need to know how he sees 3,000. And what I heard was the principle of chiropractic. A year later, the room was over 700 people in there. Over 700 people. And all of those people now are coaching doctors and supporting the profession. So I'm excited that I was brought up underneath that, but I have a story now, okay, and what we're doing, and one of the things I want for you all to do, I want to just make sure you get some good information. You leave here with something practical. You're not going to remember everything, so consider me a pot of glue. You stick your hand in it, you pull it out, you get some on you. The stuff that you get, you cheat, you like, you take it home, you utilize it, all right? But make sure you get something. If you get one thing, just one thing, right? From this, get it, grow, develop, and keep going. Take some notes. I want to give 5 points. I want to give 5 points as far as having a practice that I can actually reach the masses. But I want to invite you to understand that you can live a principled life. And one of the things with living a principled life is that helps everything that I'm learning is this thing called gratitude. Gratitude. Man, gratitude. Dr. Mitch, you got up here, man, and I was just listening to you. And I hope you all caught that because I didn't used to get that. So I coached with Dr. Schiffman, and if you coach with Dr. Schiffman, I know he told everybody this at one point at some time, right? I used to call my accountability partner, Dr. Tipley, Dr. Ed, man, this dude told me to go sit out in the forest for 2 hours. So I would go do it, right? I would get still and bugs would bite me. And I'm like, why am I out? What's going on? I don't feel it. I'm not inspired, right? But it wasn't about me. It was about the transformation of up here. What Doc was talking about when he was up here, he was talking about, man, I didn't even say anything. I didn't even do a talk. I just showed up. It wasn't what he did by showing up. It was who he was being when he showed up. In a constant state of expecting a miracle. But the thing about it is, it starts in your mind. I'm telling you. It's not a particular script you're going to read. It's not a practice management program, a marketing tool, a plot. It's being present, right? They say the field is white with harvest. The field is white with harvest, but it's like, it's so many of these things we can do. It's the labor, right? And being there, being present, right? Being who you need to be to attract is what it is. So you don't believe me? All right. So you've had places in your life that just stress you out, right? And as soon as you walk in, you feel heavy. You leave out, you excited. Everybody happy Friday night. Everybody happy. Hey, it's happy hour. I'm Friday, right? Because it's the mind. You've created something. So you can create gratitude. You can create attraction, but it starts up here. It's clearness, and that's what the silence was about. It took me a decade, 15 years to get, I'm still trying to get it, right? That's growth. Because when you change up here, everything around you changes, and then you move in rooms and things shift by how you think. I want to give you that because that's the most 20 years, that's the most valuable thing I could ever tell you.
I got you.
Okay.
Well,
O-N means on, right? You got to be all in. To have the things that others don't, you have to be willing to do the things that others won't. I don't mean naked, right? I'm talking about jumping out there. I'm talking about all in with everything you got. All right? This was a powerful quote for me. I never forgot it. To have the things that others don't, you must be willing to do the things that others won't. So in my head, I'm always like, okay, what won't somebody else do? Right? Because that path there's nobody hardly there. Right? So I'm going to try that path. Because there's so much abundance. So when we go in and we look at this right here, with the coach, I love Deion Sanders for what he did, right? All right. It wasn't the amount of wins that he got, but it was the shift in everything around him that happened, and he changed the game. See, oftentimes we always trying to win. We want to shake the dice and roll 7 every time. But life ain't like that. Practice is not like that. Humanity is not like that. We serve a God of balance, right? So whatever's bad, there's going to be some good going on. We watch the news, the world looks bad. But truly understanding that there's goodness in people giving and serving and loving at the same time, right? So for every pill swallow, we should be doing a chiropractic adjustment, right? This is why our philosophy is so important. So I go back here and I look at it. It says a good coach will make his players see what they can be rather than what they are. A good coach will help their players see what they can be rather than what they are. Because the thing about it is this: anything that's not changing is dying, right? So a tree grows, it gets rid of the leaves, grow another one, get a little taller, get a little wider, right? Grows, get rid of, it's constantly changing. But if that tree stops, if a flower stops flowering, it's dead. So that means through life, what we want to do is always be, and I'm not talking about changing everything. I mean, it's always good to shave your head and grow a beard, but I mean, you don't have to change everything, right? You can change things just growing a little bit. Even if it's opening your heart a little bit more every day, allowing a little bit more love in. Even if it's getting closer with God, even if it's exercising more, eating a little bit better, right? But we're talking about massive growth. Massive growth. I was talking with some of our clients, and I was talking with my partners. And then Dr. Tipler called me back and he was like, man, you know, I got something, man. People think that they're making choices, right? A choice is not anything that's foundational. But when you make a decision, something changes, right? When you decide to quit, the smell of alcohol makes you sick. When you choose to stop drinking, don't go sit at the bar, right? When you choose to give your life to Christ, you sometimes you can fall away, but when you decide to be a follower, nothing's going to rip you apart. This weekend, make some decisions. Make a decision. Now, I'm not trying to tell you what to do because nobody likes to be told what to do. What I'm here to do is support you in growing. Because I need you to support me in growing. Right? Because if you get better at something that you're doing, I might be doing something or saying something right. I might be able to help you. The biggest thing I looked at is sometimes you'll find help in packages and places you didn't think that you would find it. I always think about Dr. Shipman and some of the things that I got to keep going back to him, some of the things that I learned, things that my children teach me on a daily basis. And these are things they're special because hold on to them because they mean something different in a couple of more years. And they mean something different in a couple of more years. It's coming back to me, Dr. How you talk about, man, I didn't even say nothing. That was the best talk I ever did. I didn't talk at all. I don't even know what happened. But when your heart is open, you don't even know. You don't know. Because there's a physical and a spiritual manifestation. When you give an adjustment, you don't know what innate intelligence is directing. You don't know. Right? So it's not about being in control, it's about being able to release control because there's freedom in that. There's freedom in not being in control. But I'm going to give y'all some tips. So I was a sergeant in the Army. I had some food in my mouth because my drill sergeant had just stopped and stopped me, and I wasn't supposed to be eating. So we're not supposed to walk around with food. So he had already dropped my partner over there on the floor doing push-ups, and I had to swallow the rest of my food. You know, this was one of the pictures that reminds me of teamwork. We had battle buddies in the military, and one of the things as far as really manifesting and growing a tremendous practice, reaching the other serve, is cultural incompetence in training. It helps foster understanding. It helps with respect, effective communication, different backgrounds, different cultures. When I was in first grade, it was a kid that I would get into it on a regular basis with. He had failed 2 or 3 grades. He was a lot bigger than me. And he'd rough me up all the time on the playground. One day he messed with my lunch, and that bothered me, so I told my mom. I said, Mom, you know, this guy keep getting into it with Mom, and he went in my lunch and he took something out. You know, he had that stuff in the brown bag. She said, okay, baby. I said, well, you gonna go get him, Mom? She said, no. She made him a lunch. I said, Mom, he's been beating me up, and you made him a lunch. She said, baby, you're hungry. That's why he ate your food. He became the biggest advocate for me. He didn't touch me. No, he didn't even like me. Still, he said, your mom bring my lunch today? I would give him the lunch that my mom gave him. She made a lunch for me and him. And when he came up to the school, he was my best friend. He loved my mom. He didn't let nobody talk to her, disrespect her in any way. Because sometimes what you need to introduce is a little cultural competence and training. Really understanding. There wasn't nothing wrong with him. He had a need. And no one was there to listen. And it changed his entire world, which changed mine through just having some love. That's what cultural competence is. So number one, if you're trying to dig into a give or share or really merge and bring more to you, start to understand. He doesn't know anything about the Haitians. He doesn't, the Latinos. They thought he was Latino. That's good. That means he's identifying. Just don't talk any Spanish. Does that make sense? Number two. I don't know if you all know who that is. That's D.L. Hughley. I was at a comedy show, and I was sitting in the audience, and he said, man, my back hurts, right? And I screamed, chiropractic, baby! He turned around and he looked like this, you know, and he looked out in the audience, and I walked up to his bouncer, and I said something in his ear. If you want to know what it is, come ask me later. Anyway, he came and he got us out the parking lot. I was with 3 other of my chiropractic friends, and he brought us in the back. I walked back there, he had these 2 big dogs sitting next to him, and he said, somebody said something about chiropractic. Who wants to adjust me? And they were just sitting there, and I was like, I do, right? Immediately I adjusted him. The best of friends. He calls me up every once in a while if he thinks I'm going to be somewhere where he's at. This is the thing. Sometimes just opening your mouth when the opportunity arises and not being scared, right? Right? The quality of your life is directly related to the quality of the questions that you ask. This is what we say to our clients. See, the thing about it is when you ask questions, you know what someone else knows. When you just talk, you only know what you know. Right? So it's good to kind of know what they know and you know, besides what you know, because what you know is very limited sometimes. Number 2, education and awareness. So this is what I thought was really cool, because the foundation of our profession, right, was founded on someone being aware of someone around them and what they were doing and how they were, right? So oftentimes, biblical principle, putting others before yourself, being concerned about what someone's doing and you seeing something's going on. This is how the first adjustment was delivered. And I don't think that he would have let that adjustment being given if he wasn't educated properly. 90% of the people that come in my office have never got a chiropractic adjustment. 90%. It's not because they're not educated. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're politicians, but someone's not aware. Someone's not aware. So if you're talking about reaching a cultural difference and really being expansive, start to have an awareness of things that are going on, things that are actually happening, right? And the needs of the people. Number 3, outreach and engagement. Giving, sharing, serving. So what happens is, and this just with your practice, if you're not into paying for these events and going to them and you want to expand your practice and do some things that are going to bring you growth, go volunteer. We volunteered here, we served the church, we gave out things. We scheduled over 35 people. They're like, who are you all? Well, we're here just to serve. We want to make sure we're doing our service. Oh, okay. So what do you charge? We're not charging anything. What do you do? We're chiropractors. Chiropractors? Yeah, this is my team. We're chiropractors. What we want to do is help. We want to give back. We want to serve. Well, no, everybody here is going to be, it was about 120 people there. 35 of them scheduled up. Before they left, the pastor gave us a piece of paper, said, hey, could you call all these people and get them scheduled? That didn't cost us anything. A couple hours of our time. You'd be surprised how giving and sharing is something that's going to be an ingredient, right? So outreach and engagement. By having outreach in your community, outreach is free. I know we're paying $5,000 a month for the marketing plan, right? $5,000 a month, I'm going to get 10 new patients. 10. Right? It doesn't cost you anything to have success. Jesus didn't have a marketing plan. He had thousands of people following him. And they heard about him all around. But how, right? Did they have Twitter in BC? No! Wasn't Twitter. Not even Yahoo, Google, what's that? SBC Global, Dr. Temple, and .net. That's a long name. Didn't have that either. So when we look at that, we go over here. I was in the Dominican, so we put together a mission trip, and it was cool, right? Nobody knew about it. We took about 5 to 10 guys with us. We were able to donate $5,000. We were able to we built a bathroom in the top of an orphanage, right, with buckets and in the dirt in the field. I went to do a lecture at a class, right? None of these people could speak English. None of them, right? None of them. But because of the intention, they were so deeply involved, so deeply listening to. I'm telling you, students, and docs, if you go in with this heart that's open, it doesn't even matter if they know what you're saying. They can feel it. Literally, I had tears coming down my eyes when I was talking, right? But they didn't know because I was sweating, because it was so hot there, because there wasn't no air conditioning. But I had tears coming down my eyes. When you give of yourself like that, now these are things that are free. You can go get a loan, SBC loan, right? You only get one and pay your money, or what you can do is really tap into your God-given gifts. Because this is the thing, and this is one of the things is you are magnificently and wonderfully made. So that means because that you have this, you even got a fingerprint that says, so it's in the Bible, it's on your fingerprint, right? So that means you have something no one else has. And it's a skill set, right? And if developed at home, it's powerful because it's your gift. It's your reason, right? So you have that and everybody needs it. Everybody needs your gift. I get excited meeting people, especially weird people, because they're really unique, right? I just walk up to them and talk to them. Hey, how you doing? What's going on, buddy? And have a blast with it, because this is the thing. You got to always be at, what you say, Dr. Schiffman, a constant state of expectation for a miracle to happen. Man, but this is the thing. It's not words. You got to believe it in your heart. Because it's real. That's how that woman lifted that truck off of her husband when he was down. That's how mothers touch their babies, and their babies can't communicate, but they know, right? There's something to that that's bigger than this physical. Number 4, inclusive policies and practices, right? So in our offices, when we're coaching our docs, what Vaught math is 1 = 3, right? 1 = 3. So that means for every person that you get, you should get at least 2 people from that, right? Because you know what everybody has, believe it or not? A mother. I don't know nobody that don't have, anybody know one? You said you do. Who knows somebody that don't have a mother? You do? They was born from something. They came from something. Yes, they do. They might not know them, but they got one. So this is the thing. You have a mother. You have a friend. You got co-workers. Everybody has 2 people. 2 people that they can bring. Significant other, boyfriend, whatever. Everybody has. That is the book. No one does not come in and bring 2 people. This is how workshops are birthed. Right? So that means if you go get 5 people, you immediately have 15. But this is the thing. You got to have this thing called discipline. You have to stand for something, right? Stand for something that you're not going to fall for. You're going to, this is what we do here. This is our policy. When they come in, the first thing that you let them know, we're a referral-based practice. Yeah, the reason why you're here, somebody told you. You're going to tell us something too. Well, get your list ready. Give the expectation. This is a talk for 350 nurses in the military. So we're talking about reaching a diverse population. Oh, this costs nothing too. 75 new patients. 75 new patients. Asking our patients, hey, well, what are you doing this weekend? How's it going for you? Hey, how's your day today? How'd you sleep? Everything good? What you got going on this weekend? Hey, let's get your power turned on. Really? Oh, I want to go. Can I go? Thank you. I like you. and that's what it is all day. No one cares about LeBron and the scores. No one cares about the playoffs. Let's talk about chiropractic in our office. You only got to do it for a couple hours. What we do is we have this thing called servant, serving, servants. And we have a 5-point transformation. We believe that if you serve just these 5 individuals, you can change the world. Just these 5 individuals, right? Number 1, military, fire, police, right? These are our servants. Number 2, churches. Churches have every single profession in them. If you can get with a church, you can get everything. Number 2, teachers. Teachers have the highest stress level, and they're responsible for the foundation of our future. So you think that they need to be clear of a civilization? I don't hear you. You think they need to be clear? Yes, they do. If y'all ain't saying yes, I don't expect the community to. They gotta be clear. Families. Every mother wanna get out the house. Come to the chiropractor. Get out the house and be healthy. And women tend to run healthcare. And the last thing are our nurses. I believe that the nurses work with every single doctor, every single specialty with doctors. So they could be really flipping things if they understand the principle. Yeah. So these 5 groups right here, if you work with them, you won't have to look for anything else. You get your sports players, you get your superstars, you get your athletes, you get your PI. They'll be enveloped and wrapped in that. These are the busiest people on the planet. These are occupational athletes. And they need us. I like this picture right here, and I wanted to share this as far as the impact that we make and not really knowing. With my patients, I always tell them, I got a picture of my daughter getting her first adjustment right by my table at 7 minutes old. People always come in, oh my God, who's that child? I said, well, that's my hand. That's my child. Well, wow, I mean, why are you just a child? And I get to tell the story over and over and over. And so now I get these babies that come into my office. I go to the hospital and adjust them now. And so you see, this is how the blessing works, right? This is how the blessing works. I was in my office one day. I think I was doing a detox because I see that big green can back there with the red pepper and water in it, right? So I was having a down day. I was sitting in there like this. I got a knock on the door, and the first lady came in and said, the baby said he wants to pray for you. And he prayed for me. And I'll never forget that. He's 9 years old now. I see him all the time. Healthy. I adjusted him at birth, 2 days old in the hospital. The power of the things that you do and how you inspire is unlimited, docs. And this is the thing I'm saying, like Dr. Miss said, don't try to be like the coaches, right? Be the best version of who you are because that's what the world needs. The thing about it is, I'm telling you something and I need y'all to understand this. You got to watch who shows you your foundational stuff. Who you're with and who's in your circle is so important. The foundation that your house is built on, when things go wrong, go bad, you fall out, you got something to stand on. Coaching is so important. You know, I called Dr. Schiffman about 10 years later. I was going through a time. I ain't talked to Dr. Schiffman. I don't know what Dr. Schiffman was doing. But he answered. And he listened to me. I talked to him for about an hour and a half. Dr. Tipple, Dr. Everett. Hour and a half was telling him all my problems. You know what he told me, Dr. Lee? You got to go into silence. I'm like, get the heck out of here, man. Come on. You ain't got to get 10 years. You ain't got nothing else to tell me. Well, obviously, I didn't get it the first time. So, you want to talk with people that are honest with you, that are straight with you, and if it sounds so amazing, it probably isn't. The simple things of the world will make the confound the wise. The simple things of the world. The more simplistic you can get with your thinking and the things that you can do, the more reproducible you can be as far as change. Sorry, I gotta read that. The wolf shall lay with the lamb, the lion shall lie down with the calf, and the fatling together, and a little child shall lead them. A little child shall lead them. That kind of reminds me of what that says to me, Matt, man, is the future generation is so important. You all's impact and where we at is so important. Like, Doctor, y'all, the ones that know me. And y'all know how important y'all are to me. But it's more important with our future. I'm sick of going into my community and adjusting. This is the first time. And if you got adjusted before, it was because you had an accident. And it's not because you want a higher state of health. It's not because you want a closer walk with Christ. It's not because you want to change or shift your future generation. Right? It's because you got back pain. Crack my back. Slam my hand. Right? This is the exact opposite. And this is why you all are so important to me, because you're carrying the torch. And number 5, collaboration and partnership. See, Dr. Shipman, I had hair too. What actually happened, you start going to schools and you start giving time, and you start serving, and you start sharing. I was recently asked to participate, still going through all of this stuff, in a partnership now with the CPS, with over 500 schools. I don't have enough docs and enough bodies, and they're paying you to do the talks. From going, sharing, serving, loving. The most powerful things on the planet are free. And then you attract everything else. Explosive growth starts with
Yeah.
a heart to serve, share, and surrender. I got this right here with grit, and this is the last thing. Grit is grooming, resources, investment, and tenacity. Grooming, resources, investment, and tenacity. People talk about grit like it's this aggressive thing, but truly grit is something that's subtle and gentle, right? Because oftentimes it's a consistency behind it that's constantly going. Gratitude, right? Gratitude to Dr. Schiffman, Dr. Lerner for building the foundation for us to even have this historic event right now. But now we're looking for y'all to come along with us, because right now together we want to have strength. And what that looks like is us depending on each other, us supporting each other, and us making sure that we're living a Thrive practice style, a Thrive lifestyle, a Thrive mindset style. So I'm going to be around. We're going to be around. Please come ask me questions. Please come talk to us about what we do. Please come get something. Remember, I'm a pot of glue. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all.